Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Theorist and welcome back to another episode of the Retro Club, the video series where we look back at a TV show that's been out for quite a while and we retroly take a review look on it. This series isn't for the ones that are looking for any trendy new things. This is for someone that either you're an old fan or you've heard of an old TV show and you fancy getting a feel for it. I recommend that if you're starting this video series now, go back and start season 1 because we've already covered season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We will be continuing on to season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and some things happen in the first series that you kind of have to know for the second one. Yeah, and get a feel of how this series is kind of playing out. In season 1, we discussed the plots of episodes. We did it in a way where we broke down the series into a first couple of episodes were single, but then they were put into bunches. For what I'm doing for season 2 though is each episode will be individually looking at one episode, and that way I'm hoping to get a feel of, helping you get a better feel of each episode as well. I feel that when I did the bulk ones, they didn't break down very well. And I'll also try and condense these videos a bit more, make them a little bit shorter. This first one might not be as short because I'm doing a bit of explaining, but hopefully we'll knock them down a little bit in time. And fortunately I still can't find any commentary on any of these episodes. It's a bit of a shame, but I found a nice little website giving me some cool information, and adding a little something extra to the Easter eggs portion of this video as well. So, without any further ado, let's begin with When She Was Bad, Season 2, Episode 1, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Alright then, so Season 2, Episode 1, When She Was Bad, begins in a way that it turns out a lot of episodes end up beginning at the beginning of the season, which is in a cemetery. We have Willow and Xander, which, if you've watched the show so far, you know that they are Buffy's two best friends in this show. And they're playing a game of guess the quote. I'm guessing something along the lines. I can't remember exactly what the quotes are, but it gets to a point where Xander's like, come on, Will, it's your time. And she's like, use the Force, Luke. And Xander's just like, do I even have to dignify that with a guess? And it's clearly like, they're talking about how they're bored, nothing much has happened over the summer. It's kind of the show telling us that, yeah, no vampires have basically attacked since Buffy killed the Master at the end of season 1. But then a vampire does attack, Buffy turns up, kicks its ass, throws it into a tree where there was a stick, a twig was hanging out of it like a stake, and he falls onto it and he turns to dust. And she's like, did you miss me? And the kick-ass intro begins. This episode, I'm not going to go over every little detail, but pretty much this episode is meant to show you Buffy's emotional state following the fact that she died at the end of season 1, and she killed the Master of Vampires, and then everything just kind of went back to normal. She didn't really have time to process it. And all the way through this episode you see that Buffy is, the language a bit, but he's a bitch in these episodes. In this first episode, she's kind of mean to Angel, who she kind of meant to have a thing with. She kind of leads Xander on, but then it's like, ha, you can't ever have me. Even Cordelia, the character that's kind of joining the Scooby Gang now, kind of isn't. She's worse than she is. And yeah, it's like, ooh. It's pretty bad. So, while that's going on with Buffy's life, you find out the vampires are trying to resurrect the Master. They are being led by the Anointed One, which is a child vampire that was created in season 1 by the Master, and they need to collect his bones to do some sort of resurrection ritual. Buffy has a nightmare that the Master is alive again, because there's this really cool scene where we use a set that's used a lot in season 2, called the Lounge, where Xander and Willow are there and they're eating lunch. Buffy comes in, trying to talk to them, and she's like, no, I'm fine. Giles comes up and she's like, Buffy, bad stuff's happening. And she's like, what? It's like, yeah, the Master might resurrect again. And she's like, what? And he's like, well, it wouldn't be the first time I tried to kill you. And you're like, what? And she lunges at her and tries to strangle her. And she's choking away. She looks like she's gonna die. She pulls away at Giles' face and the Master's underneath. She wakes up. It's her Slayer nightmare prophecy dream she's having. We then find out through the course of the episode that certain characters are being kidnapped. First it's Miss Calendar, who is the teacher of, she's like a Wiccan as well, Techno-Wiccan she calls herself. Cordelia gets kidnapped, and then when they say, haha, we got Cordelia, Angel and Buffy go get her, and it turns out that was actually a decoy and they were kidnapping Giles and Willow. And you find out that actually what happened is they were kidnapping the people who were there when the Master died, so they can then slit their throats, their blood can drop onto his bones and it will resurrect the Master. Buffy obviously defeats them, lets out all of her issues through murdering a bunch of vampires, and then breaks away the Master's bones so the Master can never ever be resurrected again. And then she seems a little better. She goes to school the next day, a bit worried, talking to Giles like, I was so mean to them, how are they going to forgive me? And he's like, no, it's fine, they are your friends. And she's like, no, I was really mean to them. And he's like, no, I'm sure they'll be fine. She goes to class, she sees Xander and Willow there, she's a bit like, save your seat. And then they start bantering, and it's like, yay, the gang's back together. And that's the end of the episode. So yeah, we will discuss how I feel about this episode, and then some Easter eggs and everything like that in the final part. Alrighty then. Okay then, so what do I think of this episode? I always have mixed opinions when watching this episode. Sometimes I really like it, sometimes I'm like, but I'm getting a newfound feel for each episode. Now I'm watching them in a way where I'm trying to look at the progression of a character in each one, and why each episode has to happen the way it does. And now I did have a newfound appreciation for it, definitely. The way that season 1 ends, it does feel very abrupt at the end of season 10 of episode 1, final episode. Because Buffy dies, Buffy's resurrected, Buffy kills the Master, they go yay, and it ends. And it's very like, oh, okay, alright then. So this episode makes sense. Obviously I couldn't get commentary, so I don't know how Whedon specifically feels about this, but I wonder if he felt that maybe he thought, maybe I very abruptly ended the last episode. So having it where Buffy has issues it's really intriguing to see your hero who has won the day, and then like the next season opens and instead of being like, hey, the world is saved and we're all good and happy, we've got to wait for the next film to come along. It's like, no, like the emotional strain of the last big epic battle really has a toll on her. And you can tell that dying and getting resurrected really screwed her over. She's horrible to her friends, but she's mean to be. She's trying to feel something because she's chatting up Xander, she's chatting up Angel, but then she shrugs them off, and it's very much like she wants to feel something. She needs to feel essentially alive. And I wonder if this is, I don't want to spoil it, but this is, yeah, I don't want to say it. We'll talk about that later. But if you've seen all of Buffy, you kind of get what I mean by that. Yeah, it's intriguing that this is what they did. They do something similar later down the line. It's really nice to see Willow and Xander. Sorry, excuse me a minute. Oh, that's better. Yeah, it's nice to see Willow and Xander even when Buffy is horrible to them because of everything they went through last season. Like they basically forgive her as soon as she's like, sorry, and they're like, ah, it's cool. Cordelia, it's nice to see Cordelia. They focus a bit more on Cordelia in this one episode. She didn't get much screen time in the first season, but in the second season already she's had quite a chunk of screen time. And you can definitely tell she's warming up to the gang, and she's going to become a new groupie. Not a groupie, a new member of the group. Miss Calendar, she's also there, and you see there's definitely growing a closeness of her and Giles. She jokes to him about how summer she went to this Wiccan festival and there was like chanting and naked mud dancing, and she's like, no, you wouldn't have liked it, there wasn't a book in sight. And then Giles is like, naked mud dancing? Yeah. And then near the end of the episode, after like they get rescued because of the vampires trying to kill them, they snuggle, and it's like, oh, you can tell there's a thing growing between them. It's nice. So yeah. Also, even though there's this slight hint at the beginning of the episode that Xander's pining over Buffy, it's not nearly as much as season 1. Love it. What I really like about season 2 onwards, Xander doesn't pine over Buffy 24/7. And potentially there's a little thing between Willow and Xander, because they almost kiss before the vampire attacks at the beginning of the episode. It's like, ooh, is something finally going to happen between them? And yeah, you also see that Buffy and Angel are definitely growing closer. And basically all the love relationships that were kind of hinted at but you weren't quite sure about in season 1, they're definitely showing you that they're going to happen in season 2. It's really quite nice. So yeah, as I say, I was never quite sure about this episode, but watching it straight after watching the finale of season 1, I'm like, no, I get it. I get what he was doing here, and it works, and yeah, it's really cool. And obviously it's episode 1 of season 2, so you kind of have to watch it if you're going to be watching all of Buffy. So yeah, When She Was Bad, definitely recommend it. I'm going to try and do a rating system for these episodes, and I would say we'll do out of 5. Definitely do out of 5, and I would give it a solid 3. It's not meh, it's not amazing, but it makes sense and it works for an opening episode to ease you back into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So yeah, 3 stars. Should watch it, definitely. Let's hop onto the Easter eggs and little things that I found. As you guys know, in the Easter egg part, I always have my trusty notebook. I'm trying to condense these down, so I wrote down things everything that I reckon should be in the Easter egg section. As I say, unfortunately I couldn't get any commentary, so these are things that I found on this nifty little website called Buffy Wiki. Go on there yourself. Anything that, if you're a fan, like, if there's anything you notice that I don't say in these episodes, please post it on there. It'd be really cool to see things that people noticed that I didn't. A few things that were on the wiki, I was like, huh, yeah, I knew that. Someone was like, oh, interesting. Like this, for example. I saw that this marks the beginning of a trend that Whedon does in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is in every season, the opening episode starts at or near a cemetery. He was like, ha, that's really cool, because obviously Buffy is about vampire slaying, and vampires mostly raised at the cemetery. It's quite cool. It's also the first time that David Boreanaz, I can never remember how to say his last name. He actually plays Angel. This is the first time his name is in the opening credits. So it definitely shows you he's now a main character. Awesome. As I say, it's the first time that the school lounge is used, and it becomes a prominent set in this episode. And onwards from this episode as well, but it was never used in season 1, but all of a sudden it's somewhere that Xander and Willow hang out. Cool, awesome, and it is one of the spots where Giles will come to the gang like, hey, we've got some problems, and they're like, okay, let's go. This is cool. What else we got? Oh yeah, something funny. In the episode, Buffy turns around and calls Angel an undead American, which makes absolutely no sense because Angel is Irish, which, Buffy, come on, Angel is Irish. You're gonna sound it. He will later down the line when we have flashbacks, but he is Irish, he's not American, so maybe geographics. I don't. You should, Buffy. Definitely. Yeah, this one, I'll give you a little hint of what's coming at the end of the season. Buffy, when she's having her I hate everyone phase, she turns around to Angel and like, let's fight. Come on. You and me, let's fight. I bet you wondered if you could take me or not. Little foreshadowing. So, yeah. Big cool fight's gonna happen between Buffy and Angel at the end of the season. It's awesome. And quote of the episode has to be right at the beginning, where they are playing the quote game and Willow turns round to Xander and says, "Use the Force, Luke." And he just looks at her for a second and he's just like, do I even have to justify that? It's like pop culture reference. Star Wars is so big and epic that if you dare use it in a guess the quote game, the person you're playing against will just be like, no, I'm not even going there. Just goes to show you, like, Star Wars was big, even in the 90s, before we really got the, I don't think Episode 1 was out then. I don't think so. If it is, it's only just come out, but the original three, Empire and Jedi, they were still big even in the 90s. The kids were just like, Star Wars! It's awesome. Yeah. So what I'm going to do in these episodes, guys, is I want to make sure that I have a quote of the episode, because it's nice to have this one line that you can be like, ha, that's really quite cool. But also in these Easter egg sections, I'm going to try and do a vampire kill count for Buffy. And in this episode, we had 7 vampires she killed. Not bad for her first day back after being in LA for 6 months. Yep, she killed the vampire at the beginning. We are assuming she killed the female vamp she tortured to get the information about where the vampires were holding her friends. And then she went to town on the vampires that were there to resurrect the Master. She dispatched 2 of them like they were nothing as well. The one that was leading the vampires, that was like the general of the anointed one, he gets a hammer and he's like, I will grind your bones to paste. Ah! And he lunges at her and she just grabs the lantern, snaps it in half, wooden lantern of course, spins it, there's another vampire coming out the other way, sticks him on fire, no, she stabs that vampire with the pointy end, sticks the lantern into the vampire that's like, I will grind you into paste. And he's like, ah! And then dies, drops sledgehammer and she uses to destroy the Master. He's like, yep, well, Buffy's badass, she don't care. Vampires are basically nothing. Opening of season 2, vampires, the major enemy factor of the season, already basically nullified because Buffy's that badass now. But we do get a more diverse enemy range in season 2. It's quite nice. But that'll be it for another episode, guys. So yeah, vampire kill count, 7 vampires. We will keep counting them, and at the end of the season we will rack up Buffy's total. And quote of the episode. Yeah, even have to justify that with this. And that, guys, is When She Was Bad, Season 2, Episode 1 of Buffy. Hope you enjoyed the Retro Club episode 6 or 7? 7. Pretty sure 7. Well, the episode will be named what the number of the episode is. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you have, please hit that like button. Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of this episode. I'm hoping I've shortened down these episodes. I'm trying to get better. About 20 minutes an episode, I think. And if you haven't already, guys, please subscribe to Mr. Theorist. And if you have already, bring a friend and get them subscribed too. The subscriber count is growing. And we're getting more and more people viewing this channel every day. Thank you so much, guys. Until next video, I'll catch you all later. Bye!